Well, hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. In case you might notice, I do have a little bit of a different filming setup. My boyfriend Evan was kind enough to lend me his 1080p webcam, so it would be a little bit easier for me to make content. Before I was using my iPhone and sitting in front of this window right here, and people walking by could see me talking to myself, and also it's just a little tough to film on the iPhone. And I feel like this video quality is actually a little bit better. I do have a stand in front of me so I can lay out my products and I won't be sitting on the floor. So thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. This video is going to be a summer glam look using the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Yesterday I created a sunset eye look that I posted on my Instagram story and my Snapchat, and I love the look and I want to go ahead and recreate it for you. Before we get started, if you're excited for this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more content from me, please go ahead and subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos from me. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So since I love the Anastasia shadows, there is one thing that I am not wild about, and there is a lot of fallout with these, which I can get over. I just recommend doing your eyes before the rest of your face, so you can wipe off any fallout that you may have. So to get started, I recommend going in with an eyeshadow primer. Wet n Wild has a really great one. Milani has a really good one. My personal favorite is a little more pricey. This is the Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Primer. I absolutely love this, and it doesn't really take very much. So I just put out a tiny, tiny amount on my hand, and I just rub it in and then go ahead and place it on my eye. It really help not only the longevity of the eyeshadows, but also help to not make the shadows crease. And I have particularly dry eyelids, so it really helps from, making my eyeshadows look crusty. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Real Techniques Diamond Sponge. This is damp. I absolutely love this. I actually like these sponges more than the Beauty Blender, and they're like half the price. So I'm going to go ahead and use my RCMA No Color Powder. I do really like this. However, this packaging is terrible. It looks like kitchen seasoning, so I just stuck some in the cap of this, that way I can actually easily get to the powder. So basically I'm just going to go ahead, put some on the tip of my sponge and go over my eyelids. I just like to go ahead and put down a base over that eyeshadow primer, that way I make sure that it's not sticky at all and my eyeshadows have a nice smooth base to be applied on. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in with this palette. It did come with this little brush, and this is actually a pretty decent brush. I am going to try to use it for part of the tutorial, but for a lot of the tutorial, I will be using my Morphe brushes. They are fairly inexpensive, and I think that they're really great quality for what they are. So first, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my Morphe M535 brush. This is just, a small blending brush, and to make sure it's clean, I'm going to use my Sephora Veramona Color Switch. Honestly, you can use a clean sponge to do this, but basically it just helps get any residual shadow off of these brushes if you haven't deep cleaned them recently. So let's go ahead and jump into the palette. So the first shade I want to go ahead and go in with is this shade Dawn right here, and I'm going to take it, and as you can see, there is quite a bit of kick up from the pan, but again, it's not a huge deal. I just recommend tapping off your brush. You can see all of the powder going everywhere, and then I'm just going to put this all over my lids. I'm not really worrying about being super precise. I'm really just trying to get down a base. So now that you have that all over, we're going to go in with that exact same brush, and we are going to go into this color Roxy. I think that this is actually my favorite color in the palette. You can see they do have a lot of fallout, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me. I just always do my eyes first. So I'm going to begin by blending this Roxy shade into my crease. So I'm going to just be focusing it in this portion of my eye, being sure not to take it up too high. And I'm just going to blend back and forth with windshield wiper motions, placed on the color where I want it. And again, you don't have to be super precise with this on the edges because we are doing our eyes first. Kind of blend it down the eyelid and just go back and forth to get a nice blended look going. So you can kind of see the way that I have it. So I'm just going to go ahead, tap off the excess, and do the exact same thing on the other eye. Absolutely love this Roxy shade. I think in my review I said it reminded me of mac and cheese. Kind of does. It's like a pinky mac and cheese color, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Her shadows are so pigmented that a little goes a long way. So it's best to start out with a little, and then you can always build it up. Okay, so now we have down that nice transition shade. Next, I'm going to go ahead with the exact same brush and go into this shade down here called New Wave. If you're going to use your palette on someone else, don't blow on it. That's gross. But it was just for yourself, whatever. And I'm just going to focus this kind of on this portion right here of my eye, making sure not to take it farther into the corner of my eye, just on the outside. Because the reason why we're doing this is we want to go ahead and create a nice gradient look. Going in with New Wave again, doing the exact same thing on the other eye. When doing eyeshadow, my best tip is to go ahead and start off slow. You can always add more, but it can be difficult to take away. So as you can see, I just kind of have this nice gradient going right now, and I'm just going to go back in and continue blending back and forth. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and go in with a slightly deeper shade, and I like to use these taper blending brushes. As you can see, it kind of comes to a little bit of a point. This is the Morphe E22. This is my favorite blending brush of all time. And we're going to go ahead and go in up here with this shade called All Star. Now, the thing, like I said about this palette especially, is the shadows are super, super pigmented. So you want to start out with just a little bit. And with darker colors, I would recommend not bringing them into this inner portion of your eyes because it can kind of make your dark circles look exaggerated. You really want to keep darker colors out here to what a lot of people refer to as the outer V. So let's just go ahead. I'm just going to lay it down and keep that color very central, not bringing it too far above this crease right here. Just really blending back and forth, just laying the color down. And as you can see, again, I'm not dragging it all the way across. Okay, so then going back into All Star, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this other eye. And I love the way that this tapered blending brush blends darker colors. I feel like it's literally the perfect size to lay on your eye and get right up to as far as you want to go in the crease. If you just set it right here, it'll never go up too high. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Morphe brushes. They run between like $5 and $8 a piece. They're really fantastic. Okay, so now you can kind of see I have that color down where I want it. I'm just gonna blend these out to make them look similar. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with that Morphe 535 brush and just blend everything kind of together to make sure that there are no harsh lines and everything is looking a little more cohesive. Okay, so next with my Morphe tapered brush that I just used, I just dropped powder all over myself. I'm going to go ahead and go into this fudge shade down here. This shade is beautiful, but it is so pigmented and you really do not need very much. So I would recommend going in with a small amount and continue to build it up. We're going to put this even farther down in the outer V, just right here on the outside, just to give the eye a little bit more depth. We're going to do that on both sides. I'm always very cautious with darker colors, especially on my light complexion, because they can turn too dark too quick. So going back in with that same Morphe blending brush, the M535, and just blending the corners. So as you can see, we do have a nice blend going on right now. I know the lighting is a little strange, but I am liking the way that this is looking. Okay, so next for the super fun part, we're going to go ahead and place this shade Cube all over our lids. This shade is amazing. In the pan, it looks like a simple white, but it actually has a pink duochrome shift to it, and it is absolutely stunning. So to really make this shade pop, because I find that this shade doesn't have as much pigment as the rest of them, so I'm going to go ahead and use my NYX glitter glue as a base. Too Faced also makes one of these, but this is like a third of the price, and I feel like this is definitely a better deal. It really doesn't take very much. Again, just a tiny bit on the back of my hand. I'm just going to go ahead and dab it onto my eyelids. And you can also use a setting spray or something to wet the shadows, and it'll give you a similar foiled look. But I personally find that I really like using glitter glue, especially with these duochrome shades, because it not only gives you that initial foiled finish, but it really helps the eyeshadow stick down where you're putting it. And it's going to stay all day. And this NYX glitter glue, I think, is around $10. So it's a really good deal because the Too Faced one is a lot more expensive than that. Okay, so now I have that glitter glue down, and we're going to go ahead and go in again with this shade right here called Cube. And usually with these shimmery shades, I like to just put them on with my fingers. I find that I get the best pigmentation that way. I'm just going to put this into the inner portion of my lid, stopping about right here where we do have that darker color. Really just putting this all over. Going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other eye. This palette is definitely giving the Modern Renaissance a run for its money, but I still think the Modern Renaissance is my favorite palette because I feel like I can wear those colors every single day and be completely confident with the eye look that I come up with, and those warm tones are just everything to me. Okay, so this right now is what we have going on. Hopefully the camera can kind of focus in on it. I feel like the lighting isn't really doing it much justice, but this is kind of what we have going on. So next I'm going to go ahead and go in with the brush that the palette came with. I'm going to go back into this Dawn shade, and I'm going to blend it up here just to kind of get rid of any harshness that might be present. Now I'm just going to comb through my eyebrows a little bit. This is just a spoolie on the end of a Ulta brow pencil. You can use anything. I honestly don't do much with my brows because they're already thick and bushy. I usually don't even fill them in most of the time. But you just kind of get the shape that you want, and I'm going to go ahead and go in with this Milani Clear Brow Gel. I think that if you're just looking for a little bit of hold, this is great. If you need a ton of hold, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But again, I'm not very high maintenance with my brows just because they're already so big and bushy, and generally they stay in place with this brow gel. So yeah, I just kind of split through them with that. So next I'm going to take the face powder I'm going to use all over my face in just a second. This is the Wet n Wild Pressed Powder Compact in the shade Warm Light. And again, just going to use my finger, and I'm going to pat that color up here. You can use any brow bone highlight that you feel goes well with your skin tone. That is my one complaint about this palette, and even the Modern Renaissance. I feel like they don't have great brow bone highlights, but brow bone highlights can look different on everyone. So I understand why they didn't put one in there, because I feel like Anastasia's palettes are really suited for every skin tone, which is really awesome. Okay, so this is what we have going on. Now I'm going to curl my eyelashes with my Shiseido eyelash curler. You can use any eyelash curler. Revlon has a pretty good one. I think the Ulta brand has a pretty good one. And I'm just going to go ahead and curl my lashes. I've basically stopped wearing eyeliner just because I find that my eyes look a lot more open when I'm not wearing eyeliner. So I'm going to go in with two mascaras. The first one is going to be the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Mascara. Absolutely love this for separating and lengthening the lashes. So I'm just going to apply this. I almost every day wear two mascaras, but 9 times out of 10, I am always putting down this particular one as a base. And on very light makeup days, I will use this one just by itself. But I just, again, I love how it separates. I love how it lengthens. It makes your lashes look fabulous. Sometimes you get some on the outer corner of your eye that you can just wipe away. Okay, awesome. And then the next mascara I'm going to go in with is the YSL, the Shock Mascara. I love this. Quick warning, it is a little bit of a goofier formula, so if you're not into that, you might not like it. The brush does have a very nice hourglass shape to it, and I really do enjoy that. Okay, I'm going to wait to do my bottom lashes until we are completely done with our face. So next I'm just going to go in with a makeup wipe and just wipe away any fallout that may have happened. Honestly, the fallout is not very bad this time around. I think it just depends on how careful you are. Okay, so my skin is already moisturized. I went in with my Milk Makeup Cooling Water Stick, and then I also went in with my Dr. Jart Water Drop Moisturizer that I'm completely obsessed with. One thing I will say about this, I feel like this is a good daytime moisturizer, but for my dry, dehydrated skin, I need something a little thicker for at nighttime. Okay, so for primer, I'm going to go in with a spray first. This is the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 Coconut Primer. This is newer to the Too Faced line. I really do like this. If you like the hydrating rub-in kind of primer that they have, this smells very similar. But since my skin is so dry, I like to use a spray primer and also a primer I'm going to physically rub into my skin. The current one that I am obsessed with is my Farsali Unicorn Essence. This is really expensive. This is $54 for 1 ounce of product. Pooh is in the background being adorable. And I really do love this. I mean, it smells like cotton candy, and it is pink and glittery. And everyone on Instagram is always just dropping this on their face. Okay. Oops, I got some down there. Guess we're going to prime down there too. So basically, I'm just going to rub this in. I think that this is fantastic for making your makeup stay all day. And I have read and watched reviews of people with skin that's really opposite of me and that's very oily that actually really like this. So I think it's great to try out for your skin type. And Sephora does have a really good return policy. So if you don't like it, you can always return it. Okay, so next for my base, I'm going to go in with my Dr. Jart BB cream, and mine is in the shade Light Medium. I talked about this in my favorite foundation videos. I usually just start off with 2 pumps on my finger, split them up, kind of dot it around, and then I like to rub in BB creams with my hand. And one of my friends did say that I should do a video talking about the difference between BB creams, tinted moisturizers, CC creams, and foundations. That's something I definitely want to do. But basically, a BB cream is a beauty balm that is supposed to be lighter coverage, and it usually has skin benefits in it, like antioxidants and sunscreen. The Dr. Jart one has really, really good coverage. Okay, so now that that is all rubbed in, just gonna wipe off my hands with my makeup wipe. Pooh is just all over the place tonight. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques Diamond Sponge. Again, this is a little damp, and I'm just going to blend this out further than what my fingers got. Okay, and for concealer, the concealer that I'm currently obsessed with, and this is about a medium coverage concealer. I'm starting to like more medium coverage concealers. This is the Infallible Pro Glow in the shade Classic Ivory. I really do like the foundation from this line as well. Just going to go ahead, put some on my nose, put some on my forehead, put some on my chin, not being super precise with it because, you know, we're going to blend it out anyway. I really like the way that this looks on my skin, even though it doesn't fully cover everything up. I think that it's really pretty. And it does give like a nice luminous glow to your skin. I think if you have oily skin, you may want to stay away from this one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that with my RCMA No Color Powder. Like I said, I was using the cap of something, but that fell on the floor. So now we're just going to use the cap of this. Pooh is at my feet, trying to eat the powder. Don't do that. Okay, so as you can see, this is just like really messy, weird packaging. Okay, so I'm going to take my damp sponge, dip it into the powder, and place this under my under eyes. Absolutely love this powder. It really gives you a nice airbrushed finish. And this is just to set that concealer. So even though I don't have oily skin, I do still like to set my makeup in place just to make sure that if I maybe sweat or something like that, my makeup is not going to be going anywhere. Just kind of dabbing this all over. Okay, so next we're going to go in with that Wet n Wild powder that I talked about. Again, this is in the shade Warm Ivory. I feel like this performs like a high-end powder. And I'm going to take my Real Techniques powder brush and swirl it around and just dab this all over my face. I really feel like this really helps set the makeup in, and it just gives you that like airbrush look. It doesn't look like you're wearing a bunch of powder on your face, and I love that. And I feel like they also have quite a few shades. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and bronze up our skin. I'm going to use my Too Faced Mr. Right brush. This thing is very loved. I love the little bow tie on it. This is adorable. And I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil Light Medium Bronzer. This does come in multiple shades. Tap off the excess, and I'm just going to, I like to contour and bronze a lot at the same time. I just kind of swirl my brush around, put it in the contours of my cheeks, put some under my neck, blend it down, and then I take it up on my forehead and just kind of blend it. I'm usually not super precise with bronzers because the ones that I pick just blend into my skin really well. So I'm just going to blend this. Okay, now that we're looking a little more bronzed, let's go ahead and go in with some blush. This blush is amazing, and it is so inexpensive. I think this is $4. This is from LA Girl. This is the Just Natural blush. I think that this blush will look good on so many different skin tones, and the quality is fantastic. This is an IT Cosmetics mini blush brush. Tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to go ahead and apply it just to the apples of my cheeks to give myself a little more color. I really like this blush because I feel like it's not too pigmented for me. Since my skin is so fair, I feel like oftentimes blush looks a little crazy on me, but this is not bad at all. So see, it just kind of gives your skin a nice fresh look to it. And I'm going to go in with another giant powder brush from IT Cosmetics and just kind of blend that out just to make sure that's nicely blended into the skin. There aren't any super harsh lines. Wonderful. Next, we're going to go ahead and do some highlighting, if I can find my highlighter. Okay, this is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in Precious Petals. They just came out with a bunch of new shades for these. These are really, really good, and I think that they're like $4. This is a baked gelée formula. Basically, they use a very similar formula to the Dior highlighters, which are like $55. So the fact that you can get this for a very small fraction of the price is amazing. You can go in with any fan brush. The one from Real Techniques is pretty good, but this is an IT Cosmetics fan brush. Just going to put that on, top off the excess, and I like to really apply that to my cheekbones to get up onto my temple. Same thing on the other side. I'm not into the super glowy highlighted look that's going around on trend right now, just because I do have quite a bit of texture on my skin because it's so dry. So I really just like to highlight the main points of my face. As you can see, that way when the light hits me, I look like I'm more awake, but I'm not like literally glowing. But the girls that can pull off like glowing to the gods, good for you. Keep doing you. Like, I'm jealous, so that looks fantastic on your skin. Okay, so next we're just going to go ahead and go in with that MAC Extended Play Giga Black one more time, and we're going to put that on our bottom lashes. This mascara is so good for the bottom lashes. I feel like the brush is just perfect. Okay, wonderful. And it looks like I forgot lip gloss. Hold on one second. Okay, and I'm back. This is the Marc Jacobs lip gloss in Sugar Sugar. I tried this because Jaclyn Hill loves it, and she's right. It's fantastic. It's also very minty. In the summertime, I really like wearing glosses over lipsticks just because they make your face look very awake and fresh. And then I'm going to go back in with the Hangover RX Primer. I like using this as a setting spray as well. And now we are ready to go. So this is the finished look. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you being here. If you like this video and you'd like to see more tutorials, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more content from me, please go ahead and subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos. Thank you so much again for being here. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.